Jay Privman's not on their show talking about his relationship problems or successes. So we will turn. I just laugh at all these. So we'll turn.
The odds are 1 to 9 that there's not a single person in horse racing that's talking about the same things that we talk about.
Correct. A cuckold, anyway. So we'll.
There were these two racing dudes named Aaron and Jared who had advice on racing and they wanted to share it. Started a website where players go to see all their picks. The goal was make the fans some money and to cut down the risk. They put the plan into motion and at first it seemed silly. Make a website where the expert picks are freer than Willie. From a racetrack veteran to just a beginner, there's one place that you want to go to find you a winner. As a matter of fact, I want to hit the exacta. There's only one site that you'll keep coming back to. So next time that the horses all line up at the post, make sure you use the website that'll win you the most. Whether Churchill, Oakland, Gulfstream Park, Saratoga, and all tracks in between, there's only one site to go to. When it comes to your racing needs and all of your bets, plus it's got a catchy name that no one ever forgets. RacingDudes.com for all of your needs. RacingDudes.com for all of your leads. RacingDudes.com for all of your bets. RacingDudes.com as good as it gets. RacingDudes.com for all of your needs. RacingDudes.com for all of your leads. RacingDudes.com for all of your bets. RacingDudes.com as good as it gets.
What is up? I'm Jared Welch, Aaron Halterman. This is another edition of Blinkers Off. What's up, my man?
I can tell you're alert and you're ready, and I like that. I like that about it.
This is when it matters, right? The end of the Derby Trail. We were kicked off the 100-point races last week. We're well into it with the Florida Derby. Got Dubai World Cup this weekend. Of course, the UAE Derby is a 100-point race, which is kind of funny, right? Because you look at that race this year and it's a mess. But the next couple weeks, man, it's balls to the walls. Speaking of balls, no. Dudes, enter promo code dudes at manscaped.com for 20% off. To trim your balls. No, but listen, the next couple weeks it gets nutty, right? Nutty. Oh, yeah. See, there's another one. Dudes. There you go.
Yes, this is what it's all about. You said something as we were getting ready to come on air that is a little sad. We're usually in Florida for the Florida Derby when this is happening. I'm really hoping that this is the last round of preps that we miss because of this. But happy to be running, happy to be here. Just 3 more weeks of preps, I should say, left. Doesn't get any bigger than the Jeff Ruby Stakes. No, I'm just kidding. Doesn't get any bigger than the Florida Derby. So we're very excited for this one. Yeah,
the Jeff Ruby. Who do you got? The Jeff Ruby? Yeah, we're not going to do the Jeff Ruby on this show. So if you're coming here to find out who, that's on it. Who do you like, Halterman?
In the Jeff Ruby?
Yeah.
Boy, I haven't made the final decision yet, but I think Like a King from the one hole. I kind of like a king, like the king, I should say, from the one hole.
And the Jeff Ruby, I never heard of that horse, by the way. It's another 100. So you got there's 300-point races this weekend. And two of the races, you're not going to know 90% of the horses in the race.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we're at. So obviously you got to think the Jeff Ruby is going to at least have one horse, like the winner, that might go to the Kentucky Derby, right? So you're taking up spots that obviously are going to make that 18, 19, 20 as we get into April super interesting, right? And who's on the bubble, because that's going to make these races, these last couple major preps, especially next weekend with the Woods, Santini Derby, and the Bluegrass. Keeneland, baby. Keeneland's coming back. Cannot wait. And you're right. I hope this is it. Hopefully we're going to go to the Arkansas Derby. Hopefully we can go to the Kentucky Derby and then kind of get back to sort of a normal situation. This all depends. Like, I'm not doing the testing constantly, and quarantining and stuff. But I think with vaccinations and whatnot, and hopefully we can start going to these. So we'll get into it a little bit last weekend, and I'll just jump right into, because it's going to be the best thing I saw. It's the fact that my boy, Hot Rod Charlie, wins the Louisiana Derby. Gate to wire, Rosario is just like, fuck it, let's go, man. And he goes, and you get to the top of the stretch. Midnight Bourbon, he makes a big run. Looks like he's gonna kind of eat up Hot Rod, and he says, "No thanks, see ya." Pulls away, wins by 2-ish. 99 Buyer came back, really strong performance. Hot Rod finally no longer a bridesmaid, right? You know, he finally broke through and won a big race.
They come down toward this final furlong. It's Hot Rod Charlie and Midnight Bourbon needs to lift. Hot Rod Charlie finding for Joel Rosario. They come past the 16th. Hot Rod Charlie just holds Midnight Bourbon, and rattling home is Obesos. It's Hot Rod Charlie to win the TwinSpires.com Louisiana Derby.
I am going to say what I told the people that listen to the Rockets on Wednesday. Don't sleep on Hot Rod Charlie. Don't forget about Hot Rod Charlie. I think what's going to happen these next 3 weeks, we're going to chase the new shiny toys that we see in these big races, and we're going to kind of forget about the Louisiana Derby winner. But let's look at all the positives about this horse. Number one being the running style. This horse showed in that race that he can get to the front and stay. And that's really important when it comes to the Kentucky Derby. So the running style is great. A win in a mile and 3/16. The Buyer comes back stronger than anything we have right now that's healthy and looking and pointing for the Derby. There's a lot of positives about Hot Rod Charlie. Don't forget about him. I think he's going to win one of these 3 Triple Crown races. I really do. I think he's going to pull off an upset somewhere. I think this is a good horse, and I think they found his trip. And his trip is get him to the front, and he's tough to pass. And, Midnight Bourbon came right up to his side there about mid-stretch, and Hot Rod Charlie said, "See ya. No worries." And not only does he win, he wins by 2 lengths. So this was an impressive performance.
Yeah, I'm with you. I was obviously rooting for it to happen, but I was so impressed and surprised by how kind of easily he did it, so to speak, because he ran a really, really big race, and to me, the way he loses if he doesn't get to win like a Derby or a Preakness, it's more just he's just not good enough. But he's gonna give you a run, like he's gonna get your money's worth, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Like he'll hit the top of the stretch in the Derby or the Preakness or whatever, and you'll think, come on, hold on, or he's right there. He's gonna hit because look at it. I mean, and it's not like it's just the Louisiana Derby. I mean, you look at the Breeders' Cup, and you look at Robert B. Lewis. I mean, he's consistently in the races now. I mean, he runs his ass off. I mean, you go back and watch the Breeders' Cup, and yeah, Essential Quality, passed him late, but he looked like a winner for a half a second in that race. Mm-hmm. And obviously he was a huge price that day. He's becoming, and I think because of him being at that point, like you and I had talked after the race, how often do you see a 94-1 runner-up in the Breeders' Cup come back to win a major prep? It just really doesn't ever happen. And so I think to your point, people are going to kind of disregard him, especially because the Louisiana Derby is early on, and it's kind of the earliest, I guess, of the 100-point prep. So like you say, they forget, say Concert Tour comes back and runs well in the Arkansas Derby. And then, of course, you got Bluegrass and Essential Quality. There's 2 horses that are definitely going to be, lower odds than him in the Kentucky Derby. Say, Greatest Honor wins this weekend or whatever. Like there's the horses are going to keep stacking up that people are probably going to choose over Hot Rod. So to your point, I do think, and he's very lightly raced this year. So I'm with you. He may not be the best horse. We'll find out, right? But I think he's gonna try. He's gonna get your money's worth. He's not going to falter. It's just a matter if he gets, how good he is, right? And we'll find out.
Yep, and I think Michael Myers, that's a pretty good exacta box at this point. I don't like future wagers at all, but if you're going to play one, I mean that's not a bad one. So I think you've got the 3.
Yeah, Hot Rod Essential and Concert Tour future exacta box. That's I mean, if the race was tomorrow, I would feel pretty good about that exacta box. Let's put it that way.
Well, I'll even go a step further. If the 3 horses make the gate, and I don't mean to be negative, but that's just the nature of the beast. If those 3 horses make the gate, that you're going to be happy. That's it gives you a shot. Going to be. I think Hot Rod will still be a decent price. So we'll see what happens. But you said it. You just get this horse to the front. People might get sick of me saying this, but he so reminds me of his sire. He really does. He just gets to the front and he just fights you. And you're right. He may not be good enough, to win the big one, but eventually he's going to win one of these big ones, I believe, and he's going to make you earn it. That's what he showed me in the Louisiana Derby. You're going to have to run really well to beat this horse. I think he shows up with a big effort. He's also only raced twice this year, so he should be pretty fresh for these 3 races coming up. I like him a lot.
And Doug is definitely taking his time with him. I mean, he's gapped out the races with the Louisiana Derby, and of course taking some time off after the Breeders' Cup. You're right, and I could see a situation where it's like he runs a good 3rd or 4th in the Derby. Then they bring him back for the Preakness, and he does a very similar impersonation of his dad, and goes out there, and they just say, you know what, come catch us. That's how we won the Louisiana Derby. Come catch us, and they can't, because you could make up a lot of reasons why he doesn't. Whether it be he just doesn't run, gets caught, or maybe he gets shuffled. With the Derby being a 20-horse field, some crazy things can happen that don't necessarily, completely reflect how the horse ran. So you could see a situation where he runs good, but just doesn't win the Kentucky Derby. They run him back at the Preakness and he wins. So that to me is the Preakness is where I'm with you. I feel like he won the mile 3/16 already, right? So do it again in the Preakness. So yeah, and by the way, we mentioned this on the live stream last week. Of course, it just had broken, so I guess we need to, you talk about horses making the gate. Life is good. Life is not good for him. He's done. He's off the. He put. This is how crazy this game is. I mean, he puts in an amazing work. People are raving about it. And as soon as you're raving about it, the news breaks that he's took a bad step and they didn't like how he came back. And then, of course, now he's off the Kentucky Derby trail. We won't see him. Definitely not until after the Belmont. If at all again. So Life is Good, who I know you liked, number 1. I was there pretty much. He's gone.
Yep. Goodbye. I mean, it's one of those things. It's is it really surprising? Baffert has had some trouble keeping some of these healthy here lately on the Derby trail, and Life is Good is gone, and now this thing's wide open, and our jobs are a hell of a lot harder. That's all right, because it also makes it a lot more fun these last 3 weeks. Because it's as my dad would say, to use a Papa Dude term, it's nut cutting time. That's what he likes to say. So it's crunch time. So these next 3 weeks, so it's going to be fun. A race like what we're going to talk about. I don't think they ever could have caught Life is Good, but now that he's out, the Florida Derby, they might produce the Derby winner. We'll see.
Magic asks, which I think, a lot of people have talked about this as soon as Hot Rod won. And of course, Rosario being the jockey in the Louisiana Derby. Who does Rosario ride in Kentucky? If it's not Hot Rod Charlie, who rides that horse? Of course, Rosario had rode just a week before, had won with Concert Tour in the Rebel for Bob Baffert. You would think that he stays put, right? With if he had the choice. You also have to think about the fact that now Mike Smith doesn't have a horse necessarily because he was on Life is Good. So now he's off the horse, obviously. So where does he go? Does he move over to Concert Tour? Does Bob want him on his horse in the Derby, so to speak, his main horse? And Rosario stays put, or like who would ride Hot Rod if it's not going to be Rosario?
Rosario will be on Concert Tour 100% unless there's an injury or unless he gets him beat somehow, and it's a situation where he gets fired. But assuming Concert Tour wins, he will be on Rosario will be on him. Who rides Hot Rod Charlie? I don't know the answer to that question. With it being Doug O'Neill, immediately you think, well, Mario, Mario Gutierrez, he'll be on there, but I don't know. That may not be the case.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't know either. Obviously, he's a mount that people would want. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I definitely am with you. It's wishful thinking. I think Rosario would jump off of Bob Baffert horse, like you say, unless he's kicked off of him, or he gets him beat or something. But you got to think it's going to be someone. It's going to be a West Coast guy, jockey wise. That maybe Mario makes a lot of sense to your point. But you're getting into the point now where you can't just kind of mess around. They got to make decisions. Hot Rod has no more starts left, so the plans for who he's going to be ridden by needs to be done, soon, because this is a Michael Myers says Pratt. That's one that we kind of talked about on the live stream a little bit. He seems like a guy that seems like a pretty logical, obviously, sort of won the Kentucky Derby with 2 years back. So yeah, Pratt seems to me, if he's my horse in the fantasy league. Yeah, as the owner of the horse, I would like to see Pratt on. I think I would feel good about that. All right, Hot Rod was my best thing I saw. We talked a little bit about the Triple Crown, kind of an update there. But what do you got? What's your best thing you saw today?
Oh, listen, it wasn't today. I'm going to cheat, but I don't care. The best thing I saw was Monday. It was Will Rogers Downs, and more importantly, it was Evil Stevel. Man, I got to thinking, I hadn't seen Evil Stevel in years, because of this stupid COVID thing. So, Evil showed up at Will Rogers Downs. Papa Dude was there. I was there. It was cold, it was windy, but it was fun. It's anytime you go to the track now, you appreciate it just a little bit more. And the great thing about Will Rogers, if you're scared of COVID, great place to go to the track, because you have no chance of getting it there. You're way away from everybody else. So it's got to be that. It was a great trip.
You got to tell the story of how they had it roped off, because I think that is just classic.
Okay, if you haven't been there, you might not understand it. But they have a big open air like bleacher grandstand area. There's a picture of the first race going off there at Will Rogers Downs, and you see John Lee saying, "Get it, baby! What a great guy! What a great announcer!" But anyway, the grandstand's like 1,000, 1,500 people can sit in it, right? But there's never more than 3 at a time, ever that I've ever been to Will Rogers that sit up there. My dad and I, and maybe one other guy. But they've roped off like certain rows, certain seats, certain sections to make sure we're all socially distanced. It's like some guy they made go out there and do that it would have taken hours. And he's roping off seats that have never been sat in, ever. You don't have to do that here. There's 3 people up here. You don't have to take hours and rope off seats.
Like we are naturally being away from everyone because no one else is up here.
I've never sat within 3,000 feet of another person at Will Rogers Downs.
Nor have you never seen more than like 20 people there. So
right. Well, if you pull up that picture, well, you don't have to, but you'll see. What is there, like maybe 15 people in that picture?
Yeah, at best. Yeah.
That's all of us. There was that was the people going out to watch the first race. My dad and I and Steve were up on where I'm describing the bleacher area. Yeah, here we go. So those people, there were maybe 3 more people to the right, and there was like maybe 5 people in the bleachers. That's all that was there for the first race.
There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I believe that's Steve taking a selfie. Is that Steve taking a selfie down at the bottom right? No.
No, that's Steve in the flannel looking shirt there.
Oh, I see him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like Steve. Okay, there you go. Yeah. I figured that's a typical Steve move, taking the selfie, with the start in the background, but no. So Will Rogers is back. That's Halterman's favorite track for some reason.
Yep.
Are you going to go back Monday?
I think so. Yeah, Mondays work out pretty well for me because Tuesday they're going to draw the Keeneland card for Saturday, so I'll definitely be home and working on the bluegrass. So I'm not going to go Tuesday, but Monday, I'd say 90% chance I'll be there.
Well, 90% chance I will not. So, all right, let's get to today's show because we have a big one here. We're going to preview the $750,000 Curlin Florida Derby at Gulfstream Park and the $12 million Dubai World Cup. It's back at Medallion Race Cars. Then we're going to get some rapid fire selections for the undercard stakes action Saturday at Gulfstream Park. Let's go!
They're in the gate, and they're off in the Curlin Florida Derby.
All right, Gulfstream Park on Saturday, the Curlin Florida Derby. It's race 14. It's grade 1. We're $750K for 3-year-olds going 1 1/8 miles. Again, it's a Kentucky Derby prep race, 140, 20, 10 for your top 4 finishers. It completes the final leg of the Kentucky Derby Series, Prep Series at Gulfstream Park, and you have a field of 11 lined up for this one, led by the horse that's looking to sweep that said series. At 6-5, the 7-horse Greatest Honor for Shug, Jose Ortiz to ride. But listen, you got some new, a couple new shooters in here, including Bob Baffert, who, by the way, if you're asking the question, when was the last time Bob Baffert brought in a horse on the Kentucky Derby Trail to Gulfstream Park? The answer is never. Spielberg, the horse that last was seen in the Southwest, running a good second. Give him credit. Good second, 4-1. You've got 5-1 on Known Agenda for Todd Pletcher, coming off that impressive allowance win after not running well at Tampa. And then, of course, to the horse that a lot of people are talking about, Collaborate, the 9-horse at 6-1 for Saffie Joseph, Tyler Geffley on the ride. What do you think of this field? And I guess the first question is, Greatest Honor, are you going to, is he playable, or are you playing against him?
All right, so this is going to be I think this is an extremely complicated race that could be simple, but could also get wild. Okay, here's the deal. Greatest Honor is getting so much hate from people like us that it's almost like, yeah, I kind of think the horse is going to run well now. I was at first I was like, I'm against that horse. I'm like, he's getting so much hate and he hasn't done anything wrong that I'm definitely going to use Greatest Honor now. I don't know. I just kind of feel like some of the hate is warranted and some of it's like, well, he has won 3 in a row down here at Gulfstream. And there's also a lot of horses here with question marks once again that he has to face. And that's been his biggest thing. He hasn't had to face much, but end of the day, I can't get past number 9, Collaborate. I think this horse is the real deal. I think he was the most impressive horse on Fountain of Youth Day. It was just the maiden special weight, but he looked awesome. This horse looks awesome in the flesh. This is a big, long striding horse. He's got plenty of early speed. And you look at the pace setup here, he kind of looks like he's going to be loose on the lead. And if that happens at Gulfstream, I don't think Greatest Honor has a big enough turn of foot to run down Collaborate. So Collaborate on top for me. I couldn't get away from him here. I do respect Greatest Honor. The biggest thing for me, you look at the race last time out, Greatest Honor struggles to get by Drain the Clock, a sprinter for the same barn as Collaborate, Saffie Joseph's horse. Collaborate's better than Drain the Clock.
I'm gonna pretend you didn't just say the last part because I had this whole setup planned for it, and I was gonna say who trains Drain the Clock? Is he a sprinter? Is he a sprinter or a router?
Sprinter.
Did Greatest Honor almost not catch him last time out?
Yes.
Did the horse have enough points pretty much to get the Kentucky Derby? And they said, no, instead we're gonna take him off the trail. Collaborate's gonna be our horse. And this horse is bred to get the distance. If Saffie Joseph can get Drain the Clock to almost, and I get it, almost doesn't count. He almost won that race against Greatest Honor, doing a similar thing that we're gonna see Collaborate do. To me, Collaborate's just, he's gonna roll. Greatest Honor may have been able to catch Drain the Clock. I don't think he can catch Collaborate. I just really don't. And listen, I think another thing too, Greatest Honor's in. He's in. The Kentucky Derby is the goal. Obviously the goal, that's the goal for a lot of these horses, but he's got the points. This is just a prep to get into that, to prep him up. This isn't the goal. Collaborate needs to run huge. He has no points. This is his Kentucky Derby. They are going to bring it with this horse, whereas Greatest Honor, there's a lot of things up against him. The way this race is going to set up, I just feel like it's going to be second even. And I hate to even say it because I don't feel like I give him enough credit, but I feel like if he finishes second, I'd be, maybe not surprised is the word, but I just don't know. I just feel like it's going to be the pace didn't really set up. The race kind of set up against us today. Finished third. We feel good about it. On to Kentucky. And that's it. You know what I mean? And so, whereas Collaborate, he's going to bring it. And the one horse that I'm worried about, and I hate to say it because I hate this horse and I hate this trainer, is Spielberg. I mean, I do. Let's make no... he ran huge. I feel like he's totally eligible to bounce here in a big way, but it's Bob Baffert, and he's bringing the horse here, and he has shown enough front end speed in his past that it kind of has a feeling that he's going to pull a little bit of a concert to her and be like, just go. Just you go and put it to Collaborate. Like, you know what I mean? Like we recognize the fact that Collaborate can't get, like, we're not going to let, like, if he goes out on an easy pace, we don't have a shot. So just go. Put it to him. And so that to me is a little concerning.
So I'll piggyback off that, and I'll put up Michael's comment. Maximum Security and Bodie Express, all capital letters, ran 1-2 all the way around the track 2 years ago and could have ran 4 laps. Yes, Michael, that's true. We were there, and we were wasted when that happened. And we thought, are we seeing this right? I mean, is that Maximum Security and Bodie Express? Yeah, it is. So anyway, yes, you're right. And to that point, and to what you just said, Michael, and to what you just said, Jared, the 9 and the 10 could run 1-2 here and just run all the way around the track 1-2. I totally agree with your thoughts. And with Spielberg, I think from this outside post, I think Bob Baffert, you know, I've compared him to Barry Bonds. Like, I think he's a great horseman, a great trainer, regardless of what else he's doing. Just like Barry Bonds was, he was a Hall of Fame baseball player, no matter what he did, put in his body. I think Bob Baffert looks at this race just like we do, and just like anybody that handicaps, and says, there's not a lot of speed in here. The 9's the only other speed. So we can either just sit or we can just send his ass. Send the 10, get over, either take the lead if the 9's dicking around, or just sit right off of him if he goes up to the lead like should, and we're sitting in a good spot either way. And we got Greatest Honor, who everybody doesn't think is quite just, he's more of like a grinder and just to keep my nose down, keep running. Those type of horses don't catch horses that are on the lead and don't come back to him a little bit. So I agree. I almost think Spielberg is the second most likely winner in the race, but I kind of threw up in my mouth when I said that. So I put him third instead of second. So I definitely agree. Another horse let's talk about, because I know we both kind of like him. The 8 Soup and Sandwich is interesting because this horse is a little bit screwy. If you've watched, you know, the last 2 races, or well, his only 2 races, he's a little screwy, right? He kind of flip-flops his leads. He doesn't really run well in the stretch, but before he gets to that stretch, when he rounds the corner, he looks like a monster, right? And then he just kind of dicks around. I think there's talent there with this one. I think there's upside. This might be a little too much too soon for a horse that's kind of quirky, but I think at 20-1, he's an interesting horse.
Yeah, to be fair, like the 6-1 Collaborate and 20-1 a Soup and Sandwich are dreams. Like you're never gonna get those. I wish you would. I think it's gonna be more like 3-1, 5-2, something like that, and Soup and Sandwich will be half of that at least at 20-1. Having said that, I'm with you, man. He's interesting. You kind of worry too. Like the 2 scenarios that I worry about is, one, he's not fast enough early because he hasn't been facing, you know, a horse like Collaborate or Spielberg, and he gets way too far out of it, and it's just too much for him to do. Or 2, he does try to hang, and he just fades. You know, he's tired by the top of the stretch, and it's so, you know, it's because it's obviously deeper waters. But to your point, he seems kind of raw, and he seems very unknown. And so to me, that I think playing like an 8-9 exacta is very interesting here because of the value when you talk about tossing Baffert and tossing Greatest Honor. I also really like Nova Rags in the one hole. Really kicking myself still for not claiming this horse back before the Sam F. Davis, because I kind of had interest in doing that, and obviously he runs a good second, and then here he is again. I just think like he's going to be forwardly placed as well. Yeah, Steve. Thank you, Steve Patton, who commented Nova Rags has got to go as well. I agree. I think he's going to be forwardly placed. He's got, he draws the one hole. He's got Junior. He's aggressive. They're going to go. So I think he's going to be very forwardly placed and at least have a shot at, when they hit the top of the stretch to whether he's good enough or not. Obviously his dad, Union Rags. I think he's never been worse than fourth, and he's to me is going to play a part in this race, and he needs the points as well. Another horse that needs the points here, so I feel like he's going to run well, and I think it's pretty telling that Bill Mott, opts to run him here in this race, gets Junior to ride, which obviously are very good together, especially at Gulfstream Park. So, yeah, I mean, I think Nova Rags is interesting. I honestly, dude, and tell me if I guess when it comes to value, I think playing a lot of things with Known Agenda, with Nova Rags, with Soup and Sandwich, and with Collaborate, tossing Greatest Honor, tossing Spielberg, and just hoping that, because I like all those horses as much as I like, or maybe even more than I like Spielberg and Greatest Honor. I honestly, I just don't like those horses very much, especially when you're going to talk about 6-5 on Greatest Honor, which I think will be the price. Very, very close to that.
Well, here's the deal. I think I think you're right. Yes. First of all, if you're going to play multis, I would hate to get to this leg and get beat by Greatest Honor. Now, if you want to try it, that's fine. I'm not really saying don't do it, but for my liking, I will play him defensively. But when we're talking about wins, exactas, and tries, listen, if Greatest Honor wins this race, it's not gonna pay enough no matter what to make it worthwhile, unless you're just going to load up on Greatest Honor. He's the type of horse where he's going to be the odds, where it's kind of like, let's just say like a concert tour in the Rebel. Like you're not going to play a $2 exacta concert tour over whoever, or $5 to win. Like you're going to have to play him large. And that's the thing. Same thing with Greatest Honor. If you're going to bet him, you better be really strong on him, because you're going to have to play him large to make money. So yeah, for what we're trying to do, I totally agree. Now, if you play him in some underneath spots, that might still be okay in the exotics, as long as you get him beat on top. But yeah, you're right. My worry with Nova Rags, and I have been squarely on the fence with Nova Rags for months. I don't know about those Tampa races, and now we're coming to Gulfstream. I know the Gulfstream crop is not great, right? But Tampa's not really either. And you look at the Sam F. Davis, Candyman Rocket, did not run well the next time out in the Tampa Bay Derby.
Yep.
Hidden Stash had every single chance in the world and couldn't pass Helium, who was making dirt debut and hadn't ran in 8 months. I mean, I don't think the Sam F. Davis was very good. I do worry about the 9 maybe getting involved with the 1 if the 1 kind of shoots out of there. But I'm just kind of Nova Rags. I'm still questioning just how good are you, Nova Rags. I'm not sure he's that good.
So the last horse I mentioned him a little bit a second ago, but obviously, and Jason Hummel brings him up a little bit too. He said, I'm worried about Incidental Irad at a Gulfstream. I have to add that Known Agenda. I mean, listen, he's one of those horses that if he goes and wins this race, you're like, really, of course he's gonna win this race. Because Todd Pletcher's Irad, look what he won by 11 last time, and I was against him in the Florida Derby. Like, come on, his dad's curl, you know what I mean? There's a lot of that there. Whereas he looks so bad the same as Davis. The Remsen, he looked bad. He goes and he runs at Gulfstream Park. So there's there's a plus. He throws on Lasix. He throws on blinkers. The horse wins by 11, pops an 82 Buyers, top buyer of his career. Well, obviously, he drops the Lasix here, being a stakes race. So do you think it's the blinkers that made the difference? Was it Lasix? Was it both? He's scary. I mean, this horse has been favored in 3 of his 5 lifetime starts. It's a dicey move to just toss this horse.
He is scary, but he ran a great race last time. Only got the 82 buyer though, which kind of tells you that the competition was not anything to write home about. And you asked the question: was it the blinkers? Was it the Lasix? Boy, I wish I could ask the horse and he'd tell me, because that's the only way you're going to know until this race, right? If he runs a huge race here, goes, oh shit, those blinkers really helped. But if he runs like shit here, it's like, well, maybe he's not very good, or maybe it was the Lasix. Don't know. Here was my deal. I don't think you can play, the 5, the 7, and the 10. You got to throw one of those out. For me, it was Known Agenda. That's what it came down to. Now, if you want to get risky and say, well, let's just throw Greatest Honor out. Well, sure. Then I'm saying play the 5. He was that last horse off the ticket type for me. You can't play them all. Am I going to be shocked if we're sitting here on Saturday around this time, a little earlier, but around this time, and say Known Agenda just won the Florida Derby? No, I won't be shocked. But Haven't ever liked him. Didn't even pick him to win the Sam F. Davis, which I just got done saying was kind of it's skeptical if that race is any good or not. Can't play him here. Just that's the one I tossed.
Yeah, this is Nick Feldman says, I can't wait for Saturday. My buddy thinks Greatest Honor is push button, and I'm completely against. And that seems to be kind of the story of this race with Greatest Honor. It's like you read that like people are like, this horse is like a contender to win the Kentucky Derby, like a top contender, or you're just like, yeah, he's too slow. He can't get there. His style never wins or whatever. This is the acid test, this race, because, he wins the Holy Bull. Obviously, he broke his maiden finally after tried 4 times, finally broke it. Wins the Holy Bull, wins it impressively. Wasn't the favorite, right? Prime Factor was, but beat, obviously, nothing. Then he comes back in the Fountain Youth, and we talked about that. Barely beats Drain the Clock, who's a sprinter, and also beat nothing in the race. Fire Will, obviously very good on turf. So you look at this race, and maybe there's not a ton of talent, but this is definitely the most talent he's faced. And he's also facing a horse like Calibrate, who's obviously going to, and a Baffert speed horse, so to speak. This is going to be the one. If he goes and airs here, and it's like, well, shit. He's just he just does what he needs to do to win a race.
I've never heard anybody go, I like Greatest Honor a little bit. It's either I think this is the greatest horse that's ever lived, or he's just, he's not very good. So yeah, you're right. He's very polarizing. That's very well said, Nick. If he wins here, it's still not like a great field, but you got to give him more credit than the last 2 races. It's definitely stronger than the Holy Bull or Fountain of Youth. You got a Baffert thrown in there. You got a Pletcher. I know he's beat a Pletcher twice, but you got one that is at least coming off a big win. You got Collaborate coming off a big win. This is a tougher field. I mean, he'll prove a lot here if he wins. But Greatest Honor for me, I'm just on that camp of, end of the day, I just don't think he's that good.
If you're tuning in live with us right now, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, you can do that any Thursday, any time we do a live stream, which these days is almost daily. You can tune in and you get alerted when we do those live. If you're listening to this after the fact, make sure you go subscribe so you can get alerted when we do these in the future. Nick, and also it's cool because people can comment while we're doing these. Nick says, and this is a good question, and we talked a little bit about this after after the Magic Mike show, we all jumped on and the 4 of us were discussing. Since the Florida hasn't been too strong, even if he wins, I would still be against him in the Derby. I just don't see his running style winning the Derby. I agree, Nick. And to that point, Halterman, what do you make of this field moving forward? I ask you that every single time. Obviously, Greatest Honor is in the Kentucky Derby already, so there's one at least. If we both, you and I both are picking number 9, Calibrate, there's 2. At least. So what do you do with this field moving forward, after Saturday?
Yeah, I think there's a shot we're going to see 3 of these move on to the Kentucky Derby, just depending on how it falls. But yeah, moving forward, I don't see myself exiting this race saying I'm going to pick this horse to win the Kentucky Derby, no matter who it is. Now, that obviously could change. It's kind of like we said, when we were talking about it, listen, somebody wins by 20 lengths. Well, sure. Pops up and does that. But overall, I don't see the Derby winner in this field. One real critical key that I'm looking for before I give kind of my last thought here, stretching out to 1 1/8 miles. Maybe Greatest Honor with the, a little bit longer distance and kind of usually naturally the pace is a little slower the longer you go. Maybe he's a little more forwardly placed than we saw him in his last couple efforts. I'm kind of looking for that. So a lot to like here as far as, man, this is going to be a fun race. It's going to be entertaining, but no, I don't think the Derby winner's in this one.
I am picking Calibrate to win, even if he does what I think he's going to do. There's 0 chance that I'm picking him in the Kentucky Derby. He's an auto toss for that matter. And honestly, this entire field is an auto toss for me in the Kentucky Derby, unless, like you said, if Greatest Honor goes and show he's a little bit closer, he still has that late closing pounce, but he sits maybe 4 or 5 lengths off the pace rather than being way out of it. In that case, you all of a sudden be okay, maybe he can do what he needs to do to win. Or, if he can do that, then yeah, he becomes a little bit more interesting moving into the Kentucky Derby than he is right now. But yeah, I'm with you. I just don't think if he's running his races, if he's just naturally slow early in his races, Greatest Honor is just not. You don't win the Kentucky Derby in that way. You just won't. And he'll be a perennial underneath horse. When I get that the longer distances help him, the Shug seems to really think the longer they go, the better, which is great. But the problem is you can't give really good horses these head starts. Like the waters get deeper, and I get going a mile and a quarter is helpful. But if the horse is spotting them 20 lengths or whatever it is, it makes it awfully tough to kind of catch him, even though he might be running hard towards the end. So at 6-5, you and I are both playing against Greatest Honor on top. We're both on the Saffie Joseph horse, number 9, Calibrate at 6-1. Support for Blinkers Off is brought to you by Manscaped. Who's the best in men's below-the-waist grooming? Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. They obsess over the technology developments and provide you the best tools for your grooming experience. Manscaped is trusted by over 2 million men worldwide. We have an exclusive offer for our listeners, 20% off plus free shipping with promo code DUDES at manscaped.com. And look, Halterman, I've got my razor. Can you hear that? My razor. Look at that. You got the light. Look at that. Oh, look at that. What do you think of the old Manscaped products?
Listen, I brought it out for everybody to see today because I like it that much. I said, listen, we haven't shown it yet, so this is what it is right here. This is your ticket to a fun time.
That is a very good point. Hey, listen, I went to the barber. I got a haircut. Don't use the same razors and stuff on your face.
You didn't use this on you though, right?
No. I brought it with me. It's like, hey, I got one. If you need one, he's like, no, don't worry. I've got my own. But no, the Manscaped Perfect Package 3.0 includes not just this, but it also has the Crop Preserver, which is a little deodorant for your balls. It's got the Reviver, your ball toner. I'm telling you, it works. It makes your balls feel extra fresh if you're going out for a night with the Tinder ladies. You gotta have the junk smelling, looking fresh, smelling fresh. It's not just about the looks, Halterman. You may never be down in that area. I'm not, but someone else is, right? Maybe. Right. Hopefully. Yeah. So you gotta trim that junk of yours, and you gotta have it smell good too. It's gotta be the grooming. It's step 1. Step 2 is making it smell good.
Do you think your Tinder girls ever watch this show?
I hope. I hope. Fun fact, we once had an idea and also credit to Ryan, to do a Tinder segment of Jared's escapades, and we still have the soundtrack for it. And we've kind of just always held it off because you're like, where's the line there? I've got stories. I mean, I feel like I'm a book that's just waiting to be written. But
what was the Ryan named the segment? Can you remember what the name of it was?
The stories of the
stories from the dating app. Stories from the dating app. I
think it's something like it was a good little, of course, typical Ryan, very good jingle. But yeah. I mean, so maybe we'll bring that back. And that what better way to sponsor that segment than Manscaped.com? Get 20% off and free shipping with promo code DUDES at Manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at Manscaped.com. Remember to use promo code DUDES, DUDES, to unlock your confidence, and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Your balls will thank you.
He was a married man way back in the day. Now he's a single dad and he's swiping away. Jared's looking for love. Will he find it perhaps? These are tales from the dating apps. Say what? These are tales from the dating apps. Say what? These are tales from the mother bleeping dating apps.
Look at that, Nick Feldman. I met my girlfriend and future wife on Bumble back in 2017. That's right. Back before Bumble was cool. You were on it. Bumble, for those wondering, Tinder is the low. That's the lower echelon. That's where you're looking to you're looking for your maiden claimers there. You know what I mean? and then you go to like Hinge, and Hinge is a little combo of both. It's more like allowance filled. Bumble, for the most part. Now, Nick, I don't know. I've met some interesting folks on Bumble. Some of my worst experience have come from Bumble, actually. But Bumble, generally speaking, is your stakes level. That's your marriage material, Nick.
Higher level. You know how old I am, guys? I met my wife at a bar on spring break, like a
Like a normal,
nobody does
yeah, no one does that anymore.
that. No.
So
I
especially
actually,
the
you
COVID
know,
days.
it was 15 years ago Tuesday that happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, is cuck supposed to mean is that fuck or is it cuckold, like the cuckold or whatever? Because I had to Google what that meant because I've been asked to be a part of that. That's a story. There you go. If you want a story, I don't know if I've told Halterman this story.
What?
It's like cuckold or something, where basically it's a husband and wife, and they want somebody to. The man wants to watch this new person pleasure the wife. Like they get off on that. So
really,
I have been asked, and I unfortunately I don't have a story about it happening because I've turned it down because that's super weird for me. Yeah, there you go, cuckold. There you go. I'm telling you guys, it's super weird. I've evolved and maybe regressed as a man since I've been online dating.
Well, 15 years ago, I did not do that, and I didn't know what that was until today. So, okay.
Well, there you go. I would not suggest. I mean, to me, it doesn't seem appealing to me, but that seems super like that. There's a lot of pressure there. I mean. There's got too much pressure to be to be a part of that, right? I don't know. I couldn't do it. So anyways,
I don't think I'm
that's one story. I mean, I seriously, we would I feel like, and we have to have Ryan on because, God, he would just he would light it up.
I wonder if Ryan knows what that is. I'm gonna text him right now. Actually,
Ask him what I say. Just put cuckold and then just question mark.
We will report back here, or I will report back.
They look to be ready. Shane Ryan has the button. Gates fly. They're racing in the Dubai World Cup.
All right, let's go overseas to Maidan on Saturday morning. So we'll kick things off before the Gulfstream Park the action really gets going. Race 9, the Dubai World Cup, $12 million race. It's for 4-year-olds and up, going 1.25 miles. Yeah, again, it feels weird because we don't have the kind of the at least even one kind of. I mean, Mystic Guide may be on his way to being the next kind of big older horse, but he's not currently. You have a year off, right? We didn't have it last year with COVID, so Thunder Snow won this race 2 years in a row, and then we had a year off, and now here we are. So it's kind of easy to forget, and it's funny. It's a $12 million race, and you're like, oh yeah, that's this weekend too. So. Big time race, big time betting opportunity. I think this year with 14 horses entered, and the odds are kind of all over the place. Mystic Guide enters as your favorite at 5-2 for Godolphin. Military Law is at 6-1. You've got Jesus' Team, another American there at 6-1. Rosario's going to ride there. Sleepy Eyes Todd at 15-1. Title Ready. Dallas Stewart's got Ryan Moore to ride there, 30-1. So yeah, it's an interesting. Of course, you got a bunch of new shooters, so to speak, for us watching because we don't know these horses, but some of them coming off the turf, off synthetics. You never how they come into this race, but gosh, it's an interesting year that you're talking about a $12 million race, and you're kind of like, I don't know really much about these horses.
Why I love our business and what we do is you're sitting there talking about a $12 million race, second richest race in the world. And we've got some people asking about, Mystic Guide, but most people are asking about, your sexcapades on Tinder. And I don't think that happens in a DRF podcast. So that's why I love Racing Dudes. So as we go to Jay Privman's not on their show talking about his relationship problems or successes. So we'll turn. I just laugh at all these. So we'll turn
the odds. The odds are 1-9 that there's not a single person in horse racing that's talking about the same things that we talk about.
Correct. A cuckold. Anyway, so we'll talk about the Dubai World Cup now. Look, I think Steve, man, I already miss you. Saw you Monday. I already miss you again. I think Steve brings up a good point. Mystic Guide last time out was killer. Like, that was awesome. If he shows up with that race, it's over. Like, that was super impressive. But is he a little overrated based on his resume? Yeah, he kind of is, right? Like, he's kind of come on lately, but overall, he's not like a world beater that you normally see. That's the 5-2 favorite in this race. You know, he's not arrogant or who else? Who else did we talk about before he came out? Like a Curlin, California Chrome. He's not that kind, but I am going to put him on top because, man, that last race was awesome. But I think you need to go deep here. 15-1, number 3 horse, Chua Wizard. Now, last time out in the Saudi Cup was not good, but the races before that, he looked pretty good. I think that's a horse at 15-1 you kind of need to take a look at. So I did have him involved as well. Jesus' team, I think if you're going to play trifectas, that's one to throw in. I don't know if he's a serious win candidate, but I think you can, by now, you kind of know he's going to come with the run, hit the board type of thing. The Mystic Guide, Chua Wizard, Jesus' team. That's my top 3.
You know, Mystic Guide is going to be the... how am I supposed to talk about racing when I see that comment come up? Jason Hommel says, I'd love to listen to Andy Sterling and Anthony Stables discuss the pluses and minuses of cuckolding. Oh, I guarantee you, neither one of those guys have definitely never been presented the opportunity to be part of a cuckold. I don't think it's not. Do you know? Oh man, you guys gotta stop. You guys have to stop with the comments right now. I can't focus on racing with talking about.
But this is what I love about it. Then we get this comment, like,
yeah. See, yeah, and then this Pocket Headies is the one that asked for the story, and that is what you started. You know, you've got the people are out because it's like all of us. It's funny because we all like can bitch about it, but it's like everyone, we're all the same. Like, we love racing, we love to talk about this kind of shit, right? We love drinking, we love having fun. Like, so, like, it's okay. Let's talk about it. I believe True Wizard is a type of cuckold that the. Oh shit!
Why did you put that in quotation marks, Magic? Chua Wizard. How am I supposed to say it?
Okay. Anyways, Mystic Guide is my top play here as well, but playing the horse at 5-2 in this race with this kind of resume just does not sound appealing whatsoever. So, look, based off his odds, if you're gonna get 2-1, 5-2, somewhere in there, I don't know if I want to play that. Honestly, I was more interested in the price and with the horse on his stablemate, number 8, Magni Coors, I think is how you say it. And Halterman and Magic both thought I was making up the horse's name when I first mentioned this horse. But listen, I mean, as a Godolphin, you got Buick riding a horse that he's rode in the past. You know, first time trying dirt, is a pretty good horse on turf. Won 3 in a row coming into here. Obviously, this is a step up, but this distance. Look at the breeding of this horse. Mega d'Oro, of course, and then Indy 500, which is an AP Indy, but that's a full. I think it's a full sister to Delta Princess, who of course was Royal Delta's mom. So you've got a little bit of the dam side has some class, and of course the sire side has some major class. So maybe the horse transfers over to dirt okay, and I mean the distance is the big thing for me. 2 for 2 at this distance. So if you're looking for a price, I like that more than I like playing 5-2 on Mystic Guide. Jesus' team finished second in the Pegasus and now is running here. What do you think of Jesus' team?
Yeah, I think Jesus' team again is kind of the hit the board type. I just don't think this horse can actually win. I think it would be so cool if he did, but I can't get there with him. And I think let's see, Nick. Yeah, you made a comment about Gunrunner ran second in Dubai, went on to win the British Cup Classic. Mystic Guide can carve out his path here. Another similarity, Gunrunner prepped in the Razorback before he went over to run in Dubai. So same as Mystic Guide. So that's kind of interesting. Those two, I'm not comparing him to Gun Runner yet, for sure, but it is interesting. And Gun Runner, if you remember, Jared, we were standing on the rail when he won that Razorback, and we looked at each other like, damn, he's going to be a beast this year. And he was. So we got that one right. But anyway, yeah, Jesus' team hit the board type. Listen, I think get Mystic Guide involved, and then kind of don't be afraid to take some prices around him. I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah, I like the 11-2 Sleep the Soldier at 8-1. You've got a horse that he's been running in all these challenge rounds, kind of leading up to this, and then when they finally last two stretching out longer. Of course, last time going a mile and a quarter, this horse went to the lead pretty quick and went early on in the race, and I think with not a lot of pace in here, this horse might have the ability to stay. So at that price, he seems interesting as well. But with Mystic Guide, it definitely seems like, listen, there's a time when everyone thought it's Maxfield, right? And then they didn't bring Maxfield over. Of course, maybe we saw why. Maybe just wasn't good enough when we saw in the big cap. Mystic Guide was the horse that Godolphin wanted over here. And so obviously he should run well. And the way he ran in that Razorback, it was like, holy shit, that was something. But you got to also think, his horse hasn't been favored in his three last starts, including that race that he was so good. Yeah, he was low prices, but he wasn't the favorite. The horse that's been good all his career, never finished worse than third, but definitely he's going to have to prove it to you. It's not like when you say when you had Arrogate, you had Gun Runner. It's not that close. You know what I mean? So to me, like taking a shot against, it seems more like makes more sense than trying to play him at 2-1 or whatever you're going to end up getting on him.
Yeah, no, I agree. I totally agree. And just a Ryan Stillman update, he finally got back to me. Yes, he does know what it is.
There you go. I think someone actually bet that he did. Space Mountain says $20 to win. Ryan knows what it is. There you go.
You win.
You win. Ryan will. What's your Venmo? Ryan will Venmo you some money. So. All right. Last question, because I don't always ask you this with the Derby stuff, but as far as Mystic Guide goes, I mean, we talked about Gun Runner and what he would do or what he did after, even though he didn't win. Do you think we sometimes talk about these horses that they don't come back over very well? Do you think Mystic Guide is a horse that win or lose, as long as he runs well, seems like a horse that's going to have a pretty big future when he comes back over here?
Yeah, for sure. I think so. I think right now he definitely. And this isn't saying much because we're kind of scrambled in the handicap division, but
I know, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that race kind of stamped him as a definite player, and now this is kind of his proving ground. Okay, are you this level now? You know what I mean? So yeah, I think Mystic Guide, if he runs well here, he's definitely going to come back to the States as one of the primetime contenders in his division, and that's a good place to be.
Yeah, it's funny because it seems like we're just lacking. Maxfield got booted. You really wanted to have him number one. And of course, he didn't win the big cap. Monomoy, of course, doing her thing on the female side. But, you have a horse like Charlatan who didn't even win last time out. But, yeah, he's ranked high because, you don't have that, like, superstar horse that we're kind of missing yet, these older horses. So, Mystic Guide definitely has a spot if he wants it. He's got to go and win this race first, though. Number 10, Mystic Guide. Halterman and I are both picking him in the Dubai World Cup. Time for Rapid Fire, presented by the Inside Track to the 2021 Florida Derby. Get our all-inclusive 14-page wager guide to the 2021 Florida Derby on March 27th, this Saturday at Gulfstream Park. Features in-depth analysis of all 10 stakes on the card, including the $750,000 Curlin Florida Derby. So you heard us talk about that a little bit ago. Kind of see how exactly we want you to play that race. Plus, get bonus race-by-race analysis, betting suggestions, and the multi-race plays for all of Gulfstream Park's entire card. Subscribe to Race Dudes Premium. Get this guide completely free, including the guides coming up. We have the next week, we'll have the Bluegrass guide. Then we'll have the Arkansas Derby guide. Of course, we might have one more, and then we have the Kentucky. But we definitely have many guides coming. You get those free if you are an active subscriber. So go check that out at racedudes.com, or you can buy it individually on the products page on racingdudes.com. All right, we got a full card, undercard, 10 stakes. We talked about one of them on the undercard at Gulfstream Park. So we're going to do this rapid fire a little differently when we do our most likely winner, our best value, our most excited to watch. So, Halterman, let's, I think this is the order we did last time. So let's start it off. I don't think we've done this one. What race are you so excited for. You're gonna get Wood. You're so excited. I get Wood race of the week. What is it?
I think I'm excited for this race for like weird reasons, right? The Gulfstream Park Oaks, race 12 in the car at Gulfstream, obviously Gulfstream Park Oaks. Okay, the Oaks division, I had just swing and miss until last week. I knocked Travel Column out. So yes, all right. I'm excited to see if we can make it 2 in a row here, and that would be good. I'm excited to it feels like that almost kick-started, okay, maybe we're going to see some good Oaks horses. And then at the other end of it, it's like, yeah, this race is kind of weird, and maybe we get another bomb like the Bodemeister horse in the Devona Dale. So it's kind of a mix of, this is just kind of going to be a fun one. And then also the rail horse, Cone Lima, is a horse I really like on the turf. Now she's back to the dirt. I don't like that angle, but then you look at the pace, it's like, damn, she might be the lone speed. So there's just a lot of ways you can go. As far as a pick, I'm going to go number 6, Millie Philly on top. I think this horse, she just draw a line through that Devona Dale. I thought the horse just horrible trip. Got shuffled way back. Here you got a shorter field, draw pretty much to the outside, just one horse to her outside. Get out of the gate. Get that stalking type trip behind the one, and just let this horse have a little bit of run. I think Millie Philly is going to rebound and run a lot better here. But yeah, I'm really excited for this one.
Yeah, Millie Philly seems like the pick, right? I definitely she seems like the Devona Dell was an absolute just disaster, but this horse likes to get a little bit in trouble, and you just. If you throw that out, you come into this race off of the Demoiselle where she finished second to Malafat. You're like, yeah, I mean, I could see her. This just seems like a perfect spot. She should be the favorite. I think I'm a little concerned about the one, Con Lima. Gate to wire, anybody? Con Lima just seems like, because you look at this horse, debut, and I always hate that angle usually when a horse is they've switched to turf at some point in their career, and then they're back to dirt, and you're like, well, now if it didn't work the first time, why do you think it is? But look, you look at this horse, she breaks her maiden at her second lifetime start, runs a 71 Beyer, and just breezes over Gulfstream Park. On a fast track, there's nothing, it wasn't like a slop, it was a fast track. She runs and goes in two off-track races, and then it's like, oh, she might be pretty good on the turf. They go turf, she's really good. They run her on turf. They consistently run her on turf. Now they're back to dirt. Irad Ortiz stays. It's Todd Pletcher. She's got plenty of early pace. Gate to wire seems very possible for her here. I just think she's super scary. So I think the 6 is a horse that I want to use. I think the 1 is a horse I cannot leave off anything. So I like the 1-6. I'm going to put the 1 on top. But it wouldn't be surprising to see the 6 win. We both are, though, I think, taking a stand against the 3 Crazy Beautiful.
Yeah, the only thing that I may play defensively, I haven't decided yet fully, but the only thing is Jose Ortiz gets aboard. I think somebody may have mentioned that in the comments. I think it was Nick. I see that comment. Yeah, I think that's odd that Jose Ortiz gets aboard here. So that kind of pumps up Crazy Beautiful just a little bit. But look, this is a horse that just has trouble winning these types of races. So it's a mixed bag, right? I mean, I'm not high on her by any means. And as a favorite, I think she's pretty weak here.
All right, let's go to my race. My So Excited I Get Wood race of the week. Let's go to race 10, the Pan American Stakes. This is we're 200K for 4-year-olds and up, going 1.5 miles on the turf. It's a grade 2. It's always a pretty popular race here at Gulfstream Park. And look who's in the race. And look who's the favorite of the race. Sadler's Joy. It's amazing, right? This horse, I've never seen a horse be the favorite more. That's just awful. This horse, he'll finish 3rd or 4th and do his thing. He's 8 years old. He's still collecting checks, minor checks. He's the favorite. He's an automatic play against as the favorite here. So look, I think Cross Border, who scratched out of that, wisely scratched out last week against Colonel Liam. Thank goodness, right? Because it saved me and it helped me cash a pick 4 ticket, because I wouldn't have without. Cross Border decides to run here. Very good at Gulfstream Park. T-Gaff with Mike Maker is dangerous. So I think this is a race that going 1.5 miles. this horse is gonna be there. My only fear of this horse is the 8-horse Churn and Burn, going a little bit of getting brave, going gate to wire. The numbers aren't really up to what Cross Border is. So, listen, I would rather play against Sadler's Joy completely and play the 1-8, but I like the 1 on top Cross Border quite a bit.
I'm with you. I like Cross Border. I think he scratched out of that race and found a much better race for the horse. So, yes, Cross Border, for me, I think he'll be tough. But there's some others in here. Look out for a couple others. That's all I'll say.
Nothing? You're just going to let people just kind of hang on that?
If you want to know, you know where to find my picks.
Oh, wow. The total team player there. Pumping up the website. I love it. All right, Halserman, let's go the lock that shit up pick of the week. What you got? I think we agree on this one, so we can kind of really talk about this race.
Yeah, so I went to race number 4. I am very sorry. Race number 3 on this Gulfstream card, the Santabella Island Stakes.
Derailed.
I know. I went with number 4, World Tour. I really think this horse is going to be a pretty good one. Last time out, broke the maiden on debut for Bill Mott and Junior Alvarado and did it pretty damn impressively by a length. Kind of just a professional effort as well. Well meant for this race. I don't think this is the toughest field, so I think it's a pretty good spot for the 4 to make her second start of her career. Stock and pounce here. Only horse I'm worried about is the 5. 5 may have a lonely lead, but I think the 4 has enough early speed to kind of stay in the range there and be able to get her late. So number 4, World Tour. I really like that horse.
Magic says, and that's what Aaron having a stroke sounds like. I know. I was a little worried, Magic. I was like, what's happening? Is the computer locking up or what's happening? Nope. It's just Halterman is having a stroke, which usually happens at the end of every week. So, no, I'm with you. Yeah, you and I don't do this. We do this separately, and then we show like before the show, like, hey, who'd you go with? I'm a World Tour too. I love everything you said. I just love the fact that Mott is. Listen, I'm riding Mott, and we'll talk about that in a little bit again because I am. Gulf Cream. Space Mountain says Gulf Cream? That sounds cold dish. I agree. That is a little weird. Gulf Cream. If you cream, never mind. World Tour. I'm with you. I think she, I should say, is very dangerous considering Mott has decided to run her straight to a stakes race off that maiden win. Just very, very professional the way she did it. Gets Junior back. I'm riding Bill Mott on Saturday at Gulfstream Park. I hope I'm right. So, World Tour. Hopefully we kick things off with our lock that shit up pick early in the card on Saturday. Finally, what people are here, what they're tuning in for, what they want to, help cash. You're making it rain. Long shot pick of the day at Gulfstream Park on the other card. What you got?
Okay, let me go down. I didn't mark these races very well. Okay, race 11 on the card at Gulfstream Park. It will be the Cutler Bay Stakes. I like Annex a lot, and I get it, and he certainly can win. But I didn't think that race last time out was overly impressive to the point where he's a lock here. So I'm going to go with the 8 Step Dancer, making his first start of the year. You look though, this horse won on debut, and then next time out was beaten 4 lengths by 5.